my next meeting in the day was with Peter Dore-Smith. And so I moved on now to a man who's really on the ground in retail, who runs a coffee chain called Kaffeine with a K, and he's been doing business for 11 years. And I sat down with Peter Dore-Smith, and I wanted to, again, listen, like, what are some of the issues you're facing? And one of the things that Peter did early on was he lobbied the council to put outdoor seating so he could keep his business going. He was barely hanging on by a thread, but he found that the government wasn't responding, and it wasn't until he went on Instagram, and he even had to walk down the street and beg the BBC to do a feature about him. You know you're desperate when you ask the BBC for help. And then finally, the council came and actually helped him. But it was only because he made up a big mess and a big stink. And every person that sits outside means that one of his employees might be able to get paid, which keeps them in the game, which keeps the local economy going. And so I listened to Peter about all the issues that were on his mind. And I want to play for you the time that I spent with him and some of the issues that he brought up about struggling as a business, trying to get London back to work, and trying to deal with a lot of the red tape and the stresses and the problems that he had as an entrepreneur. So I want to play this short video for you of the second entrepreneur I went out in the field and saw. This is Peter Dore-Smith, and this is someone who's encountering many of the problems we're seeing out there with small businesses around the world. And these are some of his thoughts and some of his frustrations. Hey, it's Brian Rose from London Real. I am here with Peter Dore-Smith at Kaffeine, his establishment, one of two coffee bars that you own.
Yeah.
This man was in the hospitality industry for over 30 years, originally from Melbourne, Australia.
Correct.
And been really impressed with how you've got your business back and running since June. You put in outdoor seating, and you're trying to find ways to do business in this new COVID reality. Just wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about the challenges you face as an entrepreneur, and how you've been able to get back to business. How hard are things right now, and are you optimistic for the future? So a bunch of questions.
Okay, great question. Yeah, I'm optimistic for the future because I'm an optimistic person. And I think you have to be optimistic, and you have to push forward for the positive views on life, and think that and believe that things are going to get better.
I've been told 13% of office workers have returned to London. I mean, that's hard to crack that if you're in retail.
Yeah.
But you're saying a lot of it's mentality about being optimistic and looking for solutions.
Yeah, you have to be optimistic and look for solutions and look for ways that you can progress forward. It may not be the best way forward for that time being, and there is going to be some losses in the meantime as well. We are operating now at 60% of our normal trade in this store. In our other store, it's been open for 3 weeks, but we're operating at 40% of our normal trade. So with that sort of trade levels, there are people, and when I say people, the people who work for you, who are potentially going to be suffering in the long run. And that's the real sad part of it. That's the real hard part of it. And I don't know what to do about that.
Right.
You know, the government support that we've had, the furlough scheme, the grants, all those things, I can't personally complain about that. I think it's been quite good. But it is, as you know, it is running out and it's running low. And it's a fine balance of trying to find how long we keep that support for, and how long you let them, people start walking basically, and keep going.
Let's get London back to work. This city's incredible. The culture's incredible. I think we could lead the world if we just got better leadership, some science-based policies, and got everyone back here. I think we really could be a beacon, you know, and there's some places that are much worse than us, don't get me wrong, but I think we could be leading the world and showing them how a metropolis like this can get back, bring the culture back, bring the optimism back, do it safely. Or we can just bump along and be an also-ran, and we're going to suffer, and it's going to take years to rebuild, you know?
Yeah,
and we don't want that. We don't want that.
I didn't come to London from Melbourne for that. I came to London to be part of a successful city and to be successful myself. And that's what I want.
There it is, the London dream.
Exactly.
All right, look, I really appreciate you, Peter. And again, I know you've been working really hard. I can see it in your eyes as a fellow entrepreneur. I know that, look, it's hard out there. And look, we've been in the same situation since March, just trying to find ways to innovate and still provide value to our customers. And that's what we've been continuing to broadcast. So I appreciate you with what you do.
Welcome.
And look, let's get London back to work. Let's, make London great again is what I want to say. And this is it. Kaffeine, great place. I've heard about you the last few years as well. So I do know about you and your brand. And let's support these businesses. Let's say yes when they ask for retail space. Let's say yes when they ask for lower business rates. Let's say yes when they ask for less restriction, less red tape. And let's rebuild the city. So thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you so much, sir. It's really interesting when you go out and speak to people in the field. It's different than reading a report about data or hearing about a survey or hearing some person in the government tell you what the situation is. I mean, if you can see the pain in Peter's eyes when he's looking at a business that's 11 years old, he looked at the original business plan and he can see it literally disintegrating in front of his eyes. But even more than that, he's talking about how he can lead employees on a regular basis to go out on the front lines and deal in strange situations and uncertainty.